Hey guys, it's Stephen Mango of Mangotology, and I have an emergency situation that I need all of your help and support with, and this is very urgent and ongoing and very serious as of today, Saturday, September 28th, 2024. Now, if you didn't see my community post that I made about Chance, the 22-year-old gay man from Denver who was closeted, he was working as a Denver Foundation staff member. You guys will be hearing from him shortly in just a moment. There are some updates and some things I have to clarify before we turn it over to Chance, who was very brave to share his channel after just getting kicked out to the street by Scientology only a few days ago. So please give him grace. He's very, understandably under psychological and mental things as anyone would be in this position. So I had him on my channel so we could use my platform to raise awareness of his story and what Scientology just did to him as a victim of their typical sort of games, which you guys will be hearing about in just a second here. So definitely watch my update, even if you don't have the full hour, because this is the most important part. So we can kind of put all of our brains together to hopefully gather resources, even if it's not just financial, to be able to get Chance to go back home to Denver and be able to restart his life. So again, if you didn't see my community post, you don't really know what's going on. But like I said, he was from Denver. They flew him out to LA on a one-way ticket twice. Once back in January, he stayed for a few weeks. He blew, made an unexpected departure, that means, went back to Denver. Then they convinced him again, come back, Chance, we want you, we think you're so special, capable, you have a high IQ, we think we could use you, have you in an executive position here in LA. Again, on the brink of homelessness, Scientology knew that. He had very little money to his name. They just took money off of his credit cards, flew him back to LA. This is a long story short of it. He prepaid on credit cards. Again, Scientology made all these credit cards in his name, withdrew all the money off of it. He had basically nothing left because he was onboarding to go into the Sea Org. Signs a billion-year contract on a Project Prepare, which means that they just handle all the regular stuff going on in the world. You might sell your car, your apartment, because you can't have any real-world stuff go on as you're onboarding to join the Sea Org, because you live and work there 24/7 around the clock. So as he was preparing to do that, he had a month, which was enough time to be at the Scientology hotel that they prepaid for him, and he was doing like ethics actions. During these ethics actions on a liability formula, it's a condition, they were having him as like, not so much like a punishment, but they said, hey, like to kind of get back into good favor, more or less, you have to pay for a $2,500 purification rundown, work on that and the ethics book, and we have to do an investigation into your phone. We feel you're still connected to your family, who they were deeming antagonistic towards Scientology. Once that happened, they saw other apps. They found out he was gay. They saw all messages, him reaching out to the Aftermath Foundation for support and stuff like that. So once Scientology became aware of all of that, they said, you can't be in the hotel. We kick you out. We're doing a committee of evidence, the process of declaring someone. They could go the other way and have him back, but he's like, I'm done with Scientology. But again, because he gave them everything but $12 to his name, they completely got rid of him and kicked him out on the street, and now he's an ex-Scientologist, completely, broken, has absolutely nothing. He was staying in a hostel last night, a $39 a night one. That was his last night. Luckily, because of my community and all of the amazing support here, because this is something he reached out to me. He was looking for a gay Scientologist story online. He found my channel. He also heard of Streets LA, I think, but he didn't know about anyone else in the ex-Scientology world. And I stepped up and used my community post that raised like $600 or $800 by now, something like that. He has all of that money and happy to provide all the proof receipts of that type of thing. Like, obviously I'd be going to hell if, people were like in the comments like, is this a real person? Like, yes, you'll be hearing from him. This is all on the up and up. The other thing I want to talk about, there was a Reddit post, Stephen Mango is lying about this, oh my god, and the Aftermath Foundation never heard of this kid, blah, blah, blah. And the charity things, oh, this is Aaron putting Mango up to something, whatever. You guys may know, if you saw some of my old videos, I didn't ever get along with Aaron Smith-Levin. We, haven't had any connection for 10 years now or something like that. I never collaborated with him. I can show you my messages with him. It's like, hi Steve, this is Aaron. Because I called him as I was scrambling yesterday, having a kid with $12. I contacted the Aftermath Foundation today. This isn't tied to any group, you guys. This is Steve Mango with a big heart, seeing my younger self in Chance, trying to be like, hey, I'm in a position where I have all of you guys. He's not an influencer. He's not like a YouTuber. He doesn't have, it's not like he's like, hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's not that type of thing. He's like, hey Steve, like if you feel this is the best option and maybe help raise awareness of my story and get me some help, then we'll do it, because I have literally nothing else right now. I have no one to talk to, no family, nothing. So with that being said, I reached out to Aaron Smith-Levin. Again, putting my differences aside, I'm like, I'll pick up the phone, I'll call, right? Get a message from him around 1 in the morning last night. We talk on the phone for a half hour. It's like, hey, once I talk to him, when he wakes up type of thing, I'll vouch his story. I believe that, you've done your due diligence, but I'll do mine. And if it works out, I can try to get him a flight back to Denver or whatever. Aaron messages me today. I didn't talk to him. We just texted a little bit. And he said, yes, I talked to him for an hour. The story's 100% vouched for. Everything's good. And I'm willing to help. Like, yeah, this is just like a horrific situation, Aaron said. So you guys can see the messages and stuff. I can make a second video to this if you have to see that. But I'm sure you guys can take my word. I've never asked for money on my channel. Never, just popping up here, just trying to like drain people dry of their money. Like, this is an emergency situation. So with Aftermath Foundation, I heard from Chance that he was denied, which I saw the messages at that point, from Aftermath Foundation by Bruce Hines. He claimed that, Bruce was on the board. I don't keep up with any of these charities. I don't know who's fighting with who today or whatnot. I have 24 tumors in my spine. I have one of my Achilles tendon. I had a PET scan for cancer, you guys. You guys will hear about that in the future. It's not about me today, but I'm just letting you guys know I'm not involved in the YouTube community right now due to my own health reasons. So I don't know who's fighting with who gets along, whatever. I'm just doing what I can to help a poor man who's homeless due to Scientology, who's gay, who used to be like my younger self, that I want to go out of my way to help. And hope that I'm the blessing that he found that could try to use my audience for good. So, with that being said, I also contacted the Aftermath Foundation. Like, what's up with this? Why do they deny him? I was told by Catherine, her name is Catherine Olson, she's also part of the Aftermath Foundation. You guys can call them and see if this is true, because Stephanie Hutchinson, who I've had beef with in the past, just have to mention this, who's, I don't know, she was just crazy during the situation when my friend Doug died, and she was blowing up a big storm online, so it's a whole nother story. But she set it out for me, so she made a Reddit post. Stephen Mango's lying. No one at Aftermath Foundation heard of this. I'm on the phone literally with the Aftermath Foundation with Catherine. I'm like I'm seeing these posts from Reddit. She's like, ignore Reddit. There's a lot of trolls on Reddit and stuff. But it's like, I'm literally on the phone with the Aftermath Foundation. I'm like, can you like tell the rest of the members or board members, like, we're also working on this case with Chance. So this is not affiliated with Aaron, not affiliated with Aftermath Foundation. This is Stephen Mango. If you guys want to thank anyone, I will take all the thanks out there, right? Steve Mango's helping Chance, right? So thank me. I put all my differences aside. I don't like Mike Render necessarily, right? Like, I've had beef with him in the past, so I'm just saying, Steve Mango's over here like, I will reach out to Aftermath Foundation. I will reach out to SPTV Foundation. I don't care. These charities are supposed to help. Let's see who steps up to the plate. No one's giving me on any side, like, any financial stuff yet. I haven't had the flight booked for him. I don't have anything from any of the charities. I've been the one who gave Chance $800 right now from the money I've raised. So, again, I know times are hard and tough for everyone. So, if you can help financially, I mean, that's going to be the best way. I can put him on a flight to Denver with this money and stuff like that. And then he ends up on the street in 2 weeks because he ran out of the $800 because it's $40 a night or something to stay in a hostel, right? So I want a more longer term solution. He does says he has someone in Denver he could stay with. It's $550 a month. He was like putting out some calls today, so there's $550 a month. Again, there's still a $200 flight to Denver. There's still food. There's still just everything that he needs. Probably clean clothes. He needs toiletries. He just needs all the sort of stuff. The LA Gay and Lesbian Center, as you guys saw, can't even get him in for a month. October 26th to meet with a case counselor. So this isn't something where, they could get him in this weekend and put him in like a, because they do like housing and stuff like that too. So I'm over here trying to do my best, you guys, contacting any of these charities who could help. I, use my platform to raise $600 to $800, whatever it was. And I'm over here just calling out for help from you guys. So if anyone out there has the financial resources, I'm going to either do a GoFundMe or Venmo is preferred. I'll put my username. It's at StephenM91. The security code is 8408. If it asks, again, you can put a message to him or Chance. He's going to see all of it. So that's Venmo. PayPal is talentmailings@gmail.com. That used to be my business. Talent, like actor talent. Talent mailings, like the mail, at gmail.com. You guys will see it all in the description box. It will go to me. It'll say talent mailings, but it's for Steve Mango. I don't have a personal PayPal. I don't use PayPal. So those are the two ways to get the resources to Chance, or on GoFundMe. I'll start a GoFundMe. If it's not in the description, it will be at least over this weekend. I'm like burnt out. I've been up till 3 a.m. trying to help him, you guys. So again, description box if you need those donation links. If anyone has legal resources, has other like homeless resources, or has literally anything under the sun that you guys think of that somebody in his position could use, advice, a therapist, I would love to connect him with a therapist who could do like pro bono sort of work for him. I'm not just asking for financial resources. This is not a grift. It's not a shakedown. Again, I have no need or requirement for anything like that. And you guys know, like, you could see, ask him, like, obviously he's gotten all the money and stuff like that. I'm trying to help someone who's in a poor situation. So let's cut it to the video of Chance. Please just give him grace. It's his first time ever speaking up on a video, ever talking on camera. So just please come with the understanding that he just left Scientology, or not left. He was kicked out on the street only a few days ago, homeless, scared for his life. So I met up with him, bought him lunch, got him Starbucks, and, you know, just wanted to offer friendship to him. And again, I spent about $100 on him yesterday. So again, here's the video. I will post updates in my community tab, so please follow me, you guys. If you also want to leave comments and messages of support to Chance, I'm going to tell him that check out my comment box, Chance, so you guys can leave him messages, encouragement, whatever you think someone in his position may need to hear at this time of his life. Please just like really think of, like, put your differences about Mangotology aside, Aaron, Aftermath. It's not about it. This is Stephen Mango's project. If you have issues or you want to talk to me, my email's down below. If you have any ideas, whatever, and you want to reach me privately, do so in my comment box below. Don't reach out to just whoever about it, like Steve Mango's helping Chance. So here we go. You guys can leave him comments, but again, community posts will have updates. I'll have a running final total of numbers. If he gets home to Denver, if you guys want me to vlog with him, like his journey going back home, whatever you guys want, give me ideas, post whatever. So enough of Steve Mango rambling like always. Let's get into the video, and I'll see you guys later with hopefully some happy news. And please, 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 if you guys, even if it's $5, $2, $1, whatever, that's definitely going to help so I can put him on a plane and drive him to the airport and stuff tomorrow. Okay, fingers crossed, you guys. Bye. Turn it over here to Chance, and we're gonna let him tell you guys his story here. So you can introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about where you're from, how did you find Scientology, and we'll kind of take it from there, I guess. So when did you first initially find Scientology, and how did that kind of happen?
I grew up in Montana. In 2020 I decided to move to Denver. After living in Denver for a few years, I ended up homeless. It's a whole other story. And I did end up getting back on my feet, and shortly after that I stumbled across a Scientology org in Denver, and they invited me in, and right then and there I bought a course. The course really helped me, so I decided to pursue it.
So that was just one of the basic like book courses that you first took. So that was like like a ups and downs in life, or one of those
well, the first course was it was achieving self-confidence. I did ups and downs. I did all the basic books. I did the life improvement courses.
So when they first, or when you first walked into the door, they knew about your situation when you were having, you know, difficulties and homelessness.
Yep.
Did they know that right off the bat? So they're basically, from someone who has been in Scientology and has left, they're seeing someone who's saying to them, hey, I'm homeless, I'm having struggles in life, I'm not able to, you know, get to where I want to be, or be able to have stable housing, or any of those type of things. So they kind of had that picture, right?
Right.
And then they still said, hey, give us $50 when, you know what I mean? It's like, how, you probably didn't have a lot of money in your pocket at that point, right?
No.
So you're basically giving money that you needed for your survival to Scientology.
Yes.
More or less. Okay, so they knew that you took the course, and at what point did you start to feel like, I'm a Scientologist, or did you ever say like you were a Scientologist?
Oh, yeah.
Or so you did. So was that after that course, or was that after doing some more?
It was
or
probably pretty shortly after that course. It was probably a little bit more into it, maybe a couple more months into it. But I did end up saying I was a Scientologist. I got really into it, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
And they usually, in Scientology, there's what's called your ruin, like that one thing that's like your button, that one thing that is ruining your life. If this could be fixed through Scientology, that they would find that, you know,
information out and they use it to kind of poke at you or sell you more courses. So was yours, identified? Did they promise you some sort of help with these different things that you were struggling with? Or
well, they promised me that basically inflow equals outflow, so whatever I put in, I was going to get back double, triple, quadruple fold.
And we talked privately about this. They would do that even in my experience, this inflow equals outflow type of thing, where it's like, oh, I need, whatever. I was trying to be an up-and-coming actor. And then they're like, okay, if you pay $2,500 for the Purif, you're going to get a commercial or some acting job booking that's going to pay you double, triple, 4 times. So you think it's like an investment into yourself. Okay, if I give them that, then I'm going to get something back. Instead of the other way around, they should give it to you first. And then you... Anyways, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's that's literally a thing, you guys. They've been doing this scam for... I have been out 10 years, so they're still doing this to him in September of 2024. So just putting that out there. You're doing these courses. At this point, have they been taking out credit cards, or did that come out later on? So you've just been putting your own cash right now, right? Yeah. Okay, so then you're still in Denver at this point, and take us kind of a little bit through, did they sell you the book and lectures, as a whole set then, or when did that come into play? Because you had to give thousands at some point.
I guess that came into play, that did come into play more recently than earlier. I actually, after a few months of being in Scientology and, doing their courses every day, showing up every day, being invested into it fully, I actually joined staff in Denver. And
so for you guys, that's 2.5 or 5 year staff contract. That's not like the Sea Org where you're saying the billion-year staff contract. So they're getting him to join just their regular day or foundation sort of course staff. So did you sign for a nights and weekends one, or did you do the day program?
The day. I did the day.
So that's basically a full-time job, more or less, 5 days a week.
And it's 40 hours a week.
40 hours a week.
And it's very, very little pay.
So you're getting...
Very little.
I think you said to me $100 or $50 for the week. So
yeah.
And because they're a religion, they're able to bypass any sort of minimum wage or any other type of requirements with that. So then from that point, what happened when you started having to be kind of forced into making more donations or for those book and lectures and those different things? What were those cycles with the regs and stuff like that? Were they holding you there for hours and they're trying to be okay, we can get the money, or what was basically happening in those when the happier days of Scientology started turning into more pressure?
So I wasn't making enough money in the Scientology org, so I actually ended up getting another job at Whole Foods. So I was working 2 jobs, and still Scientology pretty much controlled my life just by having to be there every day. Studying was a requirement, 12.5 hours a week, sometimes more, actually most of the time more. So after I got these jobs and had some verifiable income, they started telling me I needed to get these basic books. I didn't get the lectures, but I needed to get the basic books. I needed to get the courses that go with the basic books. And so they would sit me down, tell me I need to invest this money. I would tell them I didn't have it. So they would go through every scenario by telling me to ask people for money, and then they would call banks to get me verified for credit cards, and they put their name on that credit card so that they could know how much money I had at all times.
So the books were, for people to know, this isn't buy a book set for $200.
No.
This is $3,000 for the books alone.
Yep.
To get the lectures that go along to it are a couple thousand, 4,000 on top of the 3, and then the courses that go along to the books, when you guys go onto a course session and there's the course supervisor and you're sitting there for 2.5 hours at a time studying the works and the scriptures of Scientology, that's another several thousand, you said, right? It was 6,000 or something, or 7,000. So we're talking right there for somebody who is in the situation that you're in. You're trying to work 2 jobs, you're trying to figure out being staff member and all these different things, and then they're trying to tell you, knowing that you're in this sort of predicament, hey, just cough up the money. It's going to help you. This inflow equals outflow, and this is all going to work out. Just pay over the money and, kind of take this, sounds like an investment is what you're thinking. Like, I'm investing into my life. Like, this is something that is going to, improve my life. But of course, it's a scam. And when we were talking privately too earlier today, today is September 27th, it's Friday, we chatted, we went to lunch and stuff like that, just to kind of talk about everything. And it's just like so insane to me that I'm 33 and you're younger, you're 22, I'm 11 years older, but I was all those years ago, 10 years ago. I was the 21-year-old kid leaving Scientology after they bankrupted me, took all my money, and ended up having absolutely nothing, no cash, and, made my YouTube channel and everything. And, that's exactly what Scientology does. They either want all of your money, you give all the money to them that you have, all the credit cards, everything. They wipe you out clean. Unless you can keep giving them the money, then you're all in good graces. Or they want your labor. They want you to go show up, join the Sea organization, and work 120 hours a week for little to no pay in their compound, and then give up your life. So it's one of those two end goals, and it's the same sort of scam that they've been pulling and that they're still doing in 2024. So it's just really effed up. And I know we're interrupting your story here, but it's just the fact that it just enrages me, and that's why I felt like I really want to help you, because I know that being gay and just how homophobic this group is, it's a whole separate thing. So you were getting into, I know we're maybe jumping a little bit more into the story,
into that part,
but carry us through from where we left off here. So you're talking about having to work 2 jobs, and staff was coming into play with things. So a little bit later, as I'm still working at the Denver org, I get a call from AOLA, which is the Advanced Organization Los Angeles. That's where you get your OT levels in LA. You can get up to OT 5 or something. So all of a sudden you're getting a call from LA, unsolicited, out of the blue. Someone hears from you, or they may get your number. I mean, there's obviously a database for everyone, but so you're probably thinking like, oh, like, why am I getting a call from Los Angeles? It's kind of weird. Like, all of a sudden you're getting LA org calling, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? So so they call up. So what's their pitch to you?
They tell me that they've heard a lot of good things about me, that I've been progressing really fast, that I'm doing everything right, I'm making things go right. Seems like I'm a very capable person. They wanted me to join the Sea Org. They asked me what I knew about the Sea Org.
So they basically were trying to kind of feel you out to see would this guy be willing to join the Sea organization? Like, is this something maybe we can get? Because they probably got, at this point, probably several $1,000s out of you, and you're already in your state. And during this time, are they ever asking you about your housing situation, or information about just your general, what they would consider your first dynamic of your own needs and your own stuff? Like, they obviously are putting their own group and mankind before yourself, but I mean, it's the fact that they're saying, hey, give us all this money, it's going to help you and better your life. It's like they don't even care about you at the end of the day. And then they must have probably thought hey, maybe we can get him to go join the Sea Org if he's starting to run out of money to donate to Scientology. So they gave you this call, and this call's around when? How long ago did you get this call about Los Angeles? This was early this year, right?
Early this year, this year. January of this year. Beginning of January.
Okay, so this is what they do. They fly him out, one-way ticket. You fly out here, and then do they have someone picking you up, or do they just say show up to LA org, or what's basically what happens there?
The recruiter that I was talking to ends up picking me up at the airport. Mind you, there was a bunch of questions, a lot of them personal, before they actually wanted me to come out to LA, but they did end up wanting me to come out to LA. They made me feel very special, like I was someone that they've been looking for a long time, and that I was just...
You were in a place in your life that you were probably in a place where you felt like, oh, these people, this is maybe my group, or maybe some sort of feeling of purpose and belonging. And the fact that they're flying someone across straight lines, trying to get them to join this, basically a slave labor contract to work sun up to sundown for a religion that, we all end up in places in our life, you guys, and that's the thing I always say, people when I was like 18, like, oh, why didn't you Google it or look it up? It's like, I was in a very vulnerable place. I lived, you know, like on my own. I was a kid. I had nothing. And, you know, they're promising me the world. I'm like, well, I want to trust that this religion is, you know, and these people that I met that are so nice and tell me how great and amazing. I'm like, that's why I relate to it, is that this is what happens. This is like their common trick of getting people sucked in, and then they spit you right back out when they, you know, get what they, you know, all that they can get. So then you're going to fly someone out on a one-way ticket after knowing that someone's maybe in a vulnerable place in their life or whatever, even if you may not have felt that way or whatever. It's like you were, you know what I mean? And it's like they can see that. They know that, you know, maybe you were using all the credit that you could have or whatever, right? So, you know, it just, you know, makes me sad that they're doing this to people who are probably in vulnerable places in their life, you know? So, fly you out. Recruiter comes, picks you up. They were qualifying you all before to make sure you probably can like leave your life behind to come to LA and start progressing in Scientology. But at this time too, they're calling you about flag, and then we're trying to get you to go to Clearwater, right?
Yeah.
Like there were calls about that. So then they were promising you to go, you'd be able to go up to Clear, and you'd have a 2-year program if you go down there. So what was that all about for people to understand too?
So Denver org, actually, they have a program for the staff members, a specific program to make the org just more, like, have more income, basically. Make it more powerful. I don't know how to really else more explain it. So that's completely free to staff members. So they would fly you out. You'd stay there for like 2.5 years doing this program. They'd bring you all the way up to Clear. You do like all these exclusive programs that they have at the flag base that they don't have anywhere else. I didn't end up doing that though, because the Sea Org sounded a little bit more promising to me. So Denver was
go down there.
Yeah, Denver was trying to make me go down there, but LA wanted, like the LA org wanted me to come to LA. So,
and that just sounded more enticing, it sounded like at that point, than to go down to Florida. But it's basically like they were going to do like a training program for a few years, so then you could go back to Denver and being able to use those, like whatever they train you in at that point, like some people to become auditors or whatever, to go back to Denver and be like more of a capable staff member, it sounds like, for Denver. But then you get the call from LA earlier this year. You come to LA, and then you're staying at one of the Scientology hotels, right?
Right.
Or at that point. So you put money basically like onto an account, and they would just deduct the money from account for like the hotel, and then you were going and doing like the book and lecture courses and other sort of like things. So how many hours a day, like let's just say in January, before even coming up to today, how many hours a day were you spending at Scientology? Was this an all-day thing?
God. So it was an all-day thing. It was from 9 to 10 p.m., 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. most days. They ended up getting me a job here before I could actually join the Sea Org. They gave me a project prepare, if you want to explain what that is.
Yeah, it's just to like basically say you sign the Sea Org contract, or sometimes even some people don't sign the staff contract first, but they say, hey, if we just get your promise, more or less, that you would be arriving at the Sea Org, we can handle all of like the outside life things that are going on. Like say you have a credit card with $2,000. You can't join the Sea Org until you pay that $2,000 off, because that would get in the way of them being a productive, you know, staff member, aka slave for Scientology. So we need to pay that off. If there's someone in your life that's like antagonistic about Scientology, we need to handle them, because like say he goes in, and we'll get there, like if he has family or people who are antagonistic about Scientology, then, you know, they can make a big stink. They can call Leah Remini or someone like me and then show up on their front doorstep, and they wouldn't want that either. So it's like, let's handle everything, sell your belongings or get rid of your apartment or whatever it is, so then you could arrive comfortably to the Sea Org without anything getting in the person's way. So they basically have you on this project prepare, because you were saying like, I'll join the Sea Org at this point. So he's like, yeah, good, I'll join. But they're like, nope, we have to get these things situated. And then they obviously do ethics things, and they start researching about the person, and obviously we're getting down to those things. But yeah, so we can kind of take it from that point. So what was stopping you from just walking in the Sea Org that day? Like family, friends, what was the deal?
Family, and they wanted me to do the purification rundown. So I had some antagonistic family members, and which was my mom and my grandma.
So you had to cut off all contact. So Scientology's like, hey,
Yeah.
you have to cut them off because they're considered suppressive people.
Yeah, well, my mom, I told her about the CR contract and how I signed it and how I was really excited. I'm going to start a new life and I'm going to do really good for the world. Like, the CR promises you a bunch of things that they end up not delivering on. So I was telling her about all this and she had a complete freak out. She did not like that at all. She didn't want anything to do with it. She didn't want me to be in it at all. So I ended up having to tell my recruiter that, because that would mean I am considered PTS, which is potential trouble source. And if you don't report that to someone, then you get into a lot more trouble.
Yeah, if you're connected to somebody who's a suppressive person, then you're PTS, which means that you're like, you could be influenced to become an SP yourself because you're connected to someone who's going to tell you negative things or influence you in a way. So it's like they don't want you to be connected. Like if you have a mom who's SP, then you're PTS. Then if you're in the Sea Org, then it's like there's somebody there who's like a possible enemy, so to speak, or could possibly be influenced to be one, more or less in like the English sort of terminology. So Scientology is over here, from how it sounds like, is saying, hey, we got to flip the script and we have to get her to be on board, or you have to cut her off and be disconnected from her. And even then they may still be like, ooh, this is not a good thing, if he could possibly have someone who may try to like rip him out of the Sea Org or something like that. So that's something else to kind of keep in mind. But so they're basically putting you on this program to figure out like how to handle family and all this sort of stuff. So were you having any doubts about Scientology at this point, or were you still like, I'm on board, I still want to be here?
At this point I was like, I'm on board. But soon after, the doubts started to arise. So we tried getting my mom handled, and it wasn't working, so they ultimately told me disconnect. So that's what I did. I disconnected, and unfortunately, me and my mom really don't talk.
So that's due to Scientology, though.
Yeah. Yep.
So Scientology's like, all right, you have to be done with that relationship. So now, even now, she's not even willing to talk to you because you're cut off contact, more or less. Like, families don't take well to that when they're not Scientologists. You didn't come from a Scientology family or anything like that, so they don't know really all these different dynamics and how this plays out, and it's not necessarily like you just stop loving your family or your mother, just like, this is what it needs for me to live my truth of being a Scientologist, when you're brainwashed into those sort of type of things. So you're here in LA, you're still paying. It's not like Scientology is paying for your housing, so you're paying to be here in the meantime while you're doing this like project repair, going on course every day, 10, 12 plus hours a day doing Scientology. So did you end up going back there and then coming back to LA? Was there a period you went back to like Denver and then you kind of came back to LA like a few weeks ago? Because we're catching up to current time here too, because how much money were you still giving thousands in credit cards? Because they were taking credit cards out under his name and stuff like that, obviously, like you said, and then they get, added on as like financial advisors, so they can call up and find out how much money you have available on these credit cards. So Scientology still has full control and total access to everything. I mean, they were going to like the doctor with him just to make sure that, going to the hospital to make sure that, if, he needs medication or something, that they're right there to be like, controlling things. So it really sounded like they were all up in your business all the time, because now you're going to be a Sea Org member at this point. So anyways, I know it's your story to tell here too, but I'm just helping to bridge the gap so people understand kind of what's happening here. So in the last couple of weeks, what's been kind of going on, and how did we end up in this place where now, they kicked you out, and this is what's the deal right now?
I ended up leaving, and I actually stopped talking to everyone. I started blocking numbers. I told no one where I was going, because I just felt like I wasn't doing the right thing, and they kind of made me feel like a bad person, honestly, just for not doing the right thing. So they started calling me again, making me feel special again. I started doing my basic books again, and I just felt like,
Because you were in ethics trouble for a long time, so you're like
Yeah.
an enemy, but then they're like, come back once you're really
Yeah.
like, screw all this. And then they're like trying to like love bomb you and make you feel great when you were obviously having to do ethics steps and all these different things. So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
they got you back after that because they have so many phone numbers. You guys, hundreds of phone numbers. So
Oh
you
my
block 10
God.
people, then they have 20 other phone numbers that are
They
texting and
have
calling,
a
like
million.
telemarketers.
Yeah.
So they were going to track you down at some point because
Yep.
you weren't like a declared SP. They
Nope.
just thought like you were trying to quietly walk away is
Yeah.
kind of what was happening. So then they get back on the phone with you and then they offer to fly you out and be like, hey,
Yeah.
come back to LA, and they literally put you on a plane. Just like the way that they do this, because what are they going to... They don't have a return flight for him.
No?
So they put you on a one-way flight here, and then you're at their will and mercy, and you're staying at a Scientology hotel, because he's a Scientologist at this point, still being like, okay, maybe something will work out, maybe my life will improve and get better, right? I mean, I'm just assuming that's kind of what you were thinking.
Yep, exactly.
And then you had to do like a liability formula where, you know...
I had to be re-accepted into the group, which is like, I have to get a bunch of signatures from Scientologists. Most Scientologists are kind of used to this, so they'll just willingly sign without asking any questions, but some of them will ask questions, and the ones that do ask questions will make you feel like shit for doing what you did. And that also really sucks because you start doubting yourself again, because in their eyes, Scientology is the best, greatest thing in the world, and for you to leave and not tell anyone and do all these suppressive sort of acts on the church is like...
what are they accusing you of at this point? What's the big crime here?
just being connected to like suppressive persons and stuff, and blowing, that's a big one. Blowing without telling anyone
Like
where
an
I'm going.
unauthorized
It's an
departure
Yep.
type of thing.
And that was a big one. So I do this liability formula condition thing. I get accepted back into the group, and I'm still on this ethics program. Let's just say, like, during the time that I left for that short period of time, I started doing my own research on Scientology, started posting stories on Reddit, started watching, like, some videos and stuff on Scientology, and saw kind of like all this bad negative stuff. I'm sure you're wondering, well, why the fuck would you want to come back, Chance? Well, I think that you need to understand one thing, is that Scientology is really, really good at what they do. They know how to brainwash someone, they know how to love bomb someone, and they know exactly what to say and when to say it.
And also, like, you guys, you can't go on the internet, you can't look up Scientology. Only they are the right, you know, terminal or place or person to go to for information about Scientology. So someone like me, why would you listen to Steve? He's an SP, he's an enemy,
Yeah.
he's declared. You would never trust an enemy of Scientology. The internet's full of lies, the media, Leah Remini, all these places where people do get real legitimate information about Scientology, they say, no, that's all BS, it's all
Yeah.
lies, only we have the truth. So whatever you're seeing on the internet's not even true anyway. So what you're reading is just defectors, people who've left the group, who, you know, had their own crimes, and they just find ways to make you feel like, oh, like you question your own reality. Yeah, maybe I'm the problem, and what I'm reading here is just someone who is like a defector, and you start kind of getting into this headspace where you're kind of questioning all these things, and they're saying that they love me, and they're going to put me, you know, on this program, and to help my life, and just all these things, and you start just kind of like second guessing what you may feel like is the real truth, right? So that's the thing. It's like you kind of can't, you know, blame someone who's, you know, still in Scientology, in the mindset, and is in a place where, you know, you need a place to live, you need to have a roof over your head, you need food, you need all these things. Plus, you're having this religion that's trying to help you, you know, that you think is a religion that's offering you, you know, all these things. You're in LA, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, maybe I'm going to have this fresh start, and Scientology's promising that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
no one can really blame someone who's 22 years old to, you know, want that when you've been in Scientology for a number, you know, of months, year or two, whatever it was, that, you know, they've had their, you know, hooks kind of into at that point. So then you start getting into ethics. I'm maybe jumping a few steps ahead, so tell me if I'm doing that. But you're in ethics, and they're about to do an investigation onto
Yeah.
your phone and to all of your things, because they're starting to, catch wind that, because of your connection to your family that has antagonistic SPs, or even if they're just, not even considered SPs, just like people of interest who are against Scientology or may not have favorable thoughts of Scientology, maybe. However you guys want to put it, that's basically what it is. And now Scientology is like, hey, you have to cough up your phone and sign forms, so then Scientology, you're allowing them to go through. So what's going through your head here that you would allow Scientology to do that? I mean, you're still a Scientologist, but you didn't think, maybe that they would really be digging through, or what would you think?
So I ended up paying for my Purif because it's part of my project.
$2,500,
yeah,
guys.
$2,500. I don't want to talk about that.
But just so they get an idea, that's a
it's a lot of
step.
money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
I ended up paying for my Purif. I'm really excited about it, but first you have to go to an ethics officer, go on the meter, you get asked a bunch of questions about, and I told him, like, yeah, I do have antagonistic family, but I disconnected. Well, they ended up showing me a reference saying it's best basically not to disconnect from family members who are antagonistic because it can still cause more trouble later on. So they told me basically we need to reconnect with your mom, we need to handle her, we need to get her on board with you being in Scientology and doing this stuff.
So they want you to basically brainwash your mom, go back after you're not talking. It's like, okay, now we need to reconnect and then talk again just to make her think happy, just to be accepting enough that you're doing Scientology. And the $2,500 for the Purif and all that, that's part of you, like the Project Prepare described, as you on your way into the Sea Org.
Right.
So, hey, as ethics sort of correction, what you need to do is pay up the $2,500, start your Purif, which is just to get you to do more Scientology so you become more of a believer, start handling your mom and everything in the process, or at least before the Purif kind of starts, and then you kind of arrive on the Purif, right? And then you're starting to do that process.
So, I ended up doing the Purif for one day. But, so back to the phone thing I want to get onto. So, a part of that, because I wasn't successfully able to reconnect with my mom, so they wanted to go through my phone, go through the messages, kind of have a better understanding of what is going on with my mom and our conversation cycles. If there's also like any other antagonism with people that you talk to. And that's all they told me that they were going to do. They're just going to check like my family's texts, basically. So I signed this form, and in Scientology, they don't really let you read the forms at all. It's basically just sign here, sign here, sign here, and off you go. So I signed the form, hand my phone off, give them my password, and they ended up having my phone for 5 hours.
And you were on course during this period. So he goes back to course, because I know this because I've talked to him, doing the ethics book course. So you're on course, like I said, 2.5 hours each one, and then you're doing multiple of those course sessions a day. You're on course, first 2.5 hours, no word, right? Then you go into the next probably 2.5 hours. You're on a second course period, doing course stuff, and then after that,
maybe the third course period,
wow,
that
so
I actually got my phone back. But so I get my phone back. Everything's fine though at this point still. But I start going, I look at my phone and I open up thing that shows like all the recent apps, and I see all the apps that they went through. They, before I actually handed my phone over, I just want to say, like, I deleted Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and maybe another one. They actually ended up re-downloading all of those. Oh, TikTok. They ended up re-downloading all those apps and signing me in, because it was like an automatic login through like the Android Google account thing. They go through everything. So I'm searching and I see all the apps. Reddit, Snapchat, photos, search history, email, all this stuff.
And they're just going hour after hour, just going through all of this, re-downloading, going through every single message, every person you're talking to, and seeing Reddit posts and these different sort of things. So at that point, that's when they kind of, from what it sounded like, kind of flipped the switch on how they were treating you, from the moment of lovey-dovey for a while, and then it got tense, and now they're starting to see, like, hey, you might be posting things antagonistic about Scientology or like negative
On Reddit,
sort of stuff. That's kind of coming up where they're starting to see that you're having critical thoughts or doubts and stuff like that. So then from that point, and this is all recent, you guys, in the last like week, few days, right? Like it hasn't been, this is not a story from a year ago, you guys. This is like right now. So I see all that, and then they're telling you, and this is in the last couple of days, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's going to be a committee of evidence, which is the justice action, which is like a court of Scientology hearing that's going to be like, okay, we feel like they're committed. They basically said that he committed different acts, right? It was like suppressive acts, and then basically is to go up in front of Scientologists to, Scientology presents their case, he presents his case, whether or not they want to declare him a suppressive person, which is usually what happens in this case, or probably some other sort of thing where they're going to ask for a lot of money or some other type of thing. But most likely, if they think that you're an SP, they're going to declare you, right? Which is probably, at least what I'm guessing is the thing. But he's been wanting, at least then, wanted to join the Sea organization. This is why all this is happening. And now Scientology, after going through his belongings, this is where we're at. So continue what's kind of going on right now with all that.
Okay, so after they went through my phone, after I got off course, I went to the hotel, the Fountain, which is a Scientology hotel that I had paid for like 27 days, because it was supposed to be throughout my whole PURIF and my Project Prepare, basically. And they tell me that I can't stay there anymore because there was a double booking. I was like, that never happens. It's never happened in the history, because you guys are really good about that and you guys know not to double book.
It's like a hotel, you guys. If you book for 3.5 weeks, they give you the room. Like, that's how they had the, reservation for him set up. So it's like, why don't they put you in another thing? If it's their error, go to the Celebrity Center and put you up in one of their things. So it's like, they're just, so sorry, after this whole thing happened, sorry, now we don't have room for you, and kick him out and put him on the street. Yeah,
it's because I'm still not being given any information. I don't know that the committee of evidence has been brought upon yet. But it's because they think I've committed suppressive acts, so they don't want me around any Scientologist. They don't want me anywhere near it.
Yeah. So they weren't telling you were declared at this point.
No.
It's nothing like that. But obviously, coming on my YouTube channel, it's a different story. Coming on an SV's YouTube channel. But at that point, still, it's like, we don't have room for you, and we don't want you around other Scientologists. So go off and find somewhere else. Yeah. And then we'll keep you posted when this committee of evidence is going to happen.
Right. I end up getting a hotel, because I just thought this was for a couple days. I kind of believed them at first. Oh, maybe there was just a double booking. They'll get me back in there. So I go to the hotel in kind of North Hollywood, right on the boulevard. And I'm there for a day. I go in the next day, and the whole demeanor of everyone has changed. They go, Chance, you need to sign in. I've never signed in before in my life. Maybe like right when I first was going there, I signed in, but since then I haven't, because I've been on course. They all know who I am, and I've been doing Scientology, so I wasn't kind of worried about it. So they go, sign in, go sit over there. I'm like, okay. I sign in, go sit down, and an ethics officer comes up, grabs me, brings me downstairs, and has me read all these references, do a bunch of write-ups on everything that I've read, and
it's kind of like a confession to a degree of everything that you kind of know, and like who have you talked to, probably, and not really who you talked to, or did they say stuff like that? Like, have you watched
this is just
channel?
the references that I was reading. Oh. So they make me write my understanding of these references. Mm-hmm. So I do that, and I'm sitting around waiting for my actual ethics officer that I've been working with to tell me kind of what's going on. He ends up coming up to me and goes, okay, Chance, we just need to handle your family and we'll get you back on course. Everything's fine. And I was like, why is everyone's demeanor changed? How come no one is able to talk to me? Mind you, I wasn't allowed to walk around the buildings alone. I wasn't allowed to go to the cafeteria. Nothing at all. And I was confused on why this was happening. So I asked him, and he has no answers for me. He's like, that's kind of weird. Well, I mean, he clearly knew. Everyone clearly knows, but they're just not telling me. So I didn't even end up really seeing him that day. He told me to come back the next day. So I come back the next day. And this is when things kind of got a little bit more intense. Same thing, right when I walk in, chance sign in, go sit down. The ethics officer comes up to me and tells me that they are right now having a committee of evidence pulled upon me, and that I have been kind of being charged with suppressive acts against the church, and all just because of some stories, videos, movies I've watched, and I guess
that was enough for them to probably be like, okay,
contact with SPs.
That you're probably considered now a threat or a danger to them, because maybe he's gonna talk to somebody like me, or whomever, which would mean that you can't be in the Sea Org. You're too much of a troublemaker, a threat to them, type of thing. So this is again the last few days of things of this happening.
So they tell me
you're not in their hotel, and they're like, you're done here.
Yeah, they tell me to leave, and that they want me to come back tomorrow, Saturday, at 12:30 for the hearing, the committee of evidence hearing. Okay. So they want me to come back tomorrow, which is Saturday, at 12:30, and they said that they're gonna for my committee of evidence hearing, and that they also said that they would call me and give me more information. I also want to say one other thing too. Since I'm gay, they've also don't like that. They've seen stuff on my phone relating to that, and that's also kind of a crime in their eyes. Not very good at all.
All the texts, that means that you're 1-1, which is like one of the lowest points on the tone scale. That they look at people like a sexual, deviant, perverted, kind of just low life kind of a person, because this is like not a religion that ever comes up to present time. They follow their text, closely from the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever that Hubbard said. It doesn't evolve. And also, they don't want someone who's gay in the Sea Org unless you're willing to, hide your sexuality and go back into the closet and have them, audit you or audit it out, or some type of gay conversion, which isn't allowed in California, but they're a religion. But it's the sort of thing where that also probably came up too, of them saying like, oh, he's gay, and we found this out through all this thing, so now he's gay, he's talking to SPs, he's posting on Reddit, he's looking up things, he's connected to family members and stuff like that. So this is all what they're coming to this committee of evidence with, that obviously now, correct me if I'm mistaken, at a point where you don't want to be a Scientologist, you don't want to be in, you found out the truth, so it's not like you're going there to try to repent and go back into the Sea Org. You're here like, I'm effing done, but you're at a place now, long story short over here, where now you're in a place where you don't have money.
Yeah,
you
left
gave
with
them your
money.
Mm-hmm.
I gave them my money.
Credit card debt up the wazoo, thousands and thousands of dollars. And, you had a place to stay there for 27 days or something, thinking that your home was taken care of, at least in California. You can't go there now, obviously. There's not money to get back from them. You've asked for financial assistance from one of the charities. There's, for example, Aftermath Foundation, and ones where you would say, okay, he should just go and contact Aftermath Foundation, for example. And, they were trying to, get in touch with a reference or something of his, and then denied because of that alone, right? So it's like, what is someone in this position supposed to do? I mean, at least for me, I'm not a part of those charitable organizations, but you would think like that's what all you guys who follow those charities raise money to help someone like Chance to get back on his feet after leaving a cult that again, we can do more videos in the future. If you guys want to hear more of his story, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
But it's to go into more pressing information, but it's like you have someone right here who needs the financial help, who needs a place to stay, needs food, need all of these things. I'm one person. I can't, I bought him lunch, but I can't put someone up in an apartment for, a month or something like that. The, LA Gay and Lesbian Center, you have an appointment October 26th.
Yeah, 23rd.
I think it is. And today is September 27th.
I got a month away. So
just for them to meet with him. There's not any, like, immediate sort of support that's going to help an ex-Scientologist in this sort of thing. So were you in the Sea Org, started there for 5 years or something? No, but you were here in LA onboarding. This is the whole thing. You're onboarding in, paying all of this money to be able to be there and start. They take everything from you and then say, okay.
Yeah.
They wash your hands clean of you. And then they leave you with one night that you're paying, obviously, or 2 nights here and there at a place, and you're at a place where you ran out of money and abilities to support yourself. And it just makes me feel bad that these organizations can't just do the right thing. Like, I'm trying to step up here with my YouTube followers to try to get you help and hoping that you guys see that there's a real person here. I'm not just saying there's some guy who just left. I'm like, please come on my YouTube channel and let's see what the ex-Scientology community can do to help someone who just wants to get back on their feet. So what you would be doing with the money, for example, is you want a flight back to Denver so you could get out of LA. Or we can get you, for example, a month in LA, an apartment maybe temporarily, or a hotel or something for a couple weeks to get a job.
Yeah. And the thing is, even if I do fly back to Denver, I won't have a place to stay. I'm more familiar with it, and I might feel more comfortable there, but I'm still not going to have a place to stay. I'm not going to have a job. I'm definitely going to be declared an SP after this, too.
After this video, so there's no chance of that. Not that that's a better option.
Not like that's a better option, but...
Yeah, I mean... You just won't have somewhere, there that you could go, which was your religion, so to speak, that was there, so you can't turn back to them, because you're in touch with me now, so, obviously they're going to see you make this video, and boom, you'll be declared no committee of evidence to try to prove yourself one way or the other. So
I'm not going to try to prove myself. I shouldn't have to. They are a religion, but they take backlash so seriously. They should be able to take some criticism, and they don't. They can't.
It's their way, and you come on board with them, or they spit you out and say, you go do your own thing. It's our way or the highway type of thing. So you guys will see. I'm not home yet. We're in my car right now because I drove down to where he was staying, and I took him to lunch and everything like that. So now we're making the video. I'm going to go home, put this video up for you guys. So if you do want to be able to assist, again, we know times are hard for everyone out there, but if you guys can really, help to step up so we could try to give him some, food, money in his pocket, being able to, if it takes me, using, helping him to get an apartment for a month or something with the money, whatever it is, we'll still figure it out, buy him the plane ticket. I don't know how much money people will be able to raise, if we can raise a couple thousand, a few hundred, I don't know. You guys know I've never came on my channel and asked for financial assistance for anyone or done something like this. I don't have a charity organization myself, but I really resonated to Chance's story because he's the younger version of me. I left at 21, I was gay, sucked up and spit out 50 grand in debt with Scientology, so I feel like you were in my shoes, but obviously present day, but that was me then. So I really just hope that other people who've heard my story and get kind of what I went through can see that that's what you're going through right now, and maybe you're someone who, they could resonate or empathize with what you're going through in this case. A lot of ex-Scientologists here watching too, and maybe knowing that these other ex-Scientology charities never answered or helped or were able to do it. Maybe all of us can, all the Mangotology watchers can try to, step up, help out. So I don't know. We'll put up a link here to donate or something in the description box. You guys will see it on this video somewhere. And again, this is Friday, September 27th. So we're trying to do this as quickly as possible, you guys, in the next 2-3 days, even sooner if we could. So if you're
Yeah.
thinking about donating, or if you could help, please do so urgently, not 3 weeks down the road, because we're trying to help him right now.
Because I have one night at the hostel I'm staying at, which is about $40 a night, and then I'm
Yeah,
done.
we don't have anything from that point forward. So we're trying to situate this now. So we'll have all the links. You guys will know it's either a Venmo, a GoFundMe, a PayPal, something. We're going to figure it out. At least when I get home, I'll try to see what's going to be the best way to do this. Because again, sending a super chat or something doesn't help, because you get that money 50% taken out a month from now. That's not going to help. So thank you guys so much for watching. We can maybe try to give some updates or film some videos if you're still in LA, unless we can get you back to Denver, whatever you decide. This is all tentative of how we're going to help. Again, if I raise $5,000, for example, we can get you long-term apartment things, help you get a job, like do those type of things.
Yep.
If we raise 500, we might have to get you a flight or something. So depends on how much you guys are able to, you know, help out in this case. So any other last final words?
Yeah, there's a lot to this story, and I would love to share it. Don't join Scientology.
He could be very well followed, fair games, whatever. So him coming publicly is brave. You're very brave to do this, and because this is actively ongoing, it's just one of those type of things where, you know, it's more at risk to do it and to share your story and talk about this and to ask for help and stuff like that. So it's not easy, you guys watching this. This isn't someone who's like, yeah, let's go make a video. This was my idea. Like, hey, maybe we can try to raise money and hope that there's a blessing from someone out there who sees a young 22-year-old gay guy who needs our help to get him back home or on his feet or doing something. So
Yeah.
we'll keep you guys posted on his story and how much money we raise and stuff, hopefully. I love you guys. I'm sorry I haven't been around much, but I'll make another video in the future. So anyways, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching.